Being a Leaf fan might be the toughest in pro sports. After another disappointing end to the season for the Leafs, they could be in for some major changes. The Leafs had yet another great regular season. They finished 4th in the entire league and 2nd in their division, behind only the Boston Bruins. After nearly 20 years, they were finally able to get past the first round of the playoffs. At this point, things were looking great for the Blue Shirts, and Leaf Nation was feeling good. Finally, they broke the first round curse. Their best players were playing well, and they didn't have to face the best regular season record team in the second round. What could go wrong? Well, this is where the nightmare reignited for the Leafs fans, as we saw the Panthers rally off 3 wins in a row and then ultimately finish the Leafs season in a quick 5-game gentleman's sweep. So what went wrong for the Leafs in the second round? For me, I think the biggest problem for them was a man named Sergei Bobrovsky. The Leafs got out-goalied in pretty much every game this series. Bob was unreal all series long, and he looked like the Vezina caliber goalie that he used to consistently be. He was sound, he looked confident, and he made all the saves when the Panthers needed them. The Leafs were held to 2 goals in all 5 games of the series, which for a team that averaged 3.4 goals per game in the regular season, is pretty bad. It's not like they didn't have their chances though. The Panthers only had more shots on goal than the Leafs in 1 out of the 5 games. Bob was the difference maker and almost single-handedly ended the Leafs season. The Leafs, on the other hand, had their issues with goaltending. Samsonov, who was average at best in the 2.5 games that he played in, was injured in Game 3. This forced rookie Joseph Woll to come in for the end of Game 3 and start between the pipes for the rest of the series. Who would have thought that Sergei Bobrovsky, of all people, would be the biggest factor in this series? Definitely not me. People like to blame the core 4 whenever the Leafs lose, although yes, they could have been better in the second round. In my opinion, their performance throughout the playoffs overall was pretty good. Marner had 14 points in 11 games and played a big role defensively, as he usually does. He blocked lots of shots on the penalty kill, and he played in all key moments. Matthews had 11 points in 11 games, with most of them coming in the first round, and he was silenced a bit in the second round, but scored some very important goals in the first round to help them break the curse. Nylander and Marner were probably 2 of the Leafs' best forwards in the second round series, as they created a lot of chances and were able to capitalize on a few as well. Another quick mention that I think hurt the Leafs is not having Matthew Knies. This guy was the missing piece that they needed when he was inserted into the lineup. He brought skill and physicality and fit well in the top line with Matthews. Before I hop into my thoughts about what the Leafs' future looks like for next year, please subscribe if you enjoy this content. It helps me out a lot. Anyways, what's next for the boys in blue? Well, first off, speaking of Matthew Knies, we may as well talk about him first. I would like to see him replace Bunting next year. Bunting's deal came to an end this year, and he's going to want more money, which the Leafs likely don't have for him. I think Knies could slot in perfectly for Bunting and take his role alongside Matthews on the first line and probably find some time on the second power play. Leafs Nation is calling for the firing of Sheldon Keefe. Personally, I don't really know what to think of Keefe. I think he's been a pretty solid coach ever since he took over from Mike Babcock in 2019, but he can't seem to get them over the hump come playoff time. He's been the coach there for 4 years now, and I think now might be the time to get a new voice behind the bench. Another contract that comes to an end this summer is Leafs general manager Kyle Dubas. I can honestly see him staying, as he clearly has quite the bond with the players. They all seem to love him. I like the moves that he made at the deadline this year. I could see him re-upping with the Leafs this offseason. A lot of rumors always begin to float around after big upsets like this, and no, I do not think any of the core 4 players on this team get traded this year. I just can't see it happening. Please feel free to share this video with a friend who you think might find it interesting. That's all for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching all the way to the end, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.